Let's do our best not to take credit for our fathers' good deeds, all right? So, I have been talking about the R1A haplogroup and its prevalence in Central and Eastern Europe, also, much like a lot of other people, associating it with, seeing as that's who lives there, these so-called Slavs, but also underlining the fact that just because you have a certain genetic profile, that doesn't have to dictate who you are culturally or even ethnically, right? So keep all of that in mind. But there's definitely a very strong correlation between the so-called Slavs and R1A haplogroup, as I'm sure there was, and maybe there's proof for this, I don't know, the same association with the so-called say it right now, Scythians. I don't know if that's how they said it, but we'll go with that. Shtichi. So, having said that, I've been doing a little bit of research, and it turns out that there is a very insular group of Ashkenazi Jews that have a very high prevalence of this haplogroup, almost as high as the highest concentration by country of the haplogroup in Europe, meaning Poland, coming out to 51.7%, whereas Poland is somewhere around 57, I believe. So very strong. This is going to be very unscientific, but Slavic or Scythian genealogy, right? Origin. And it's very much in contrast to some of these other Jews, like the Ashkenazi Cohen, right? They have a very low presence of that haplogroup. Sephardi have slightly more, but still very low, whether it be the Cohens or the Levites. So I had made another video on my other channel talking about how the Khazars, check this out, Caesar in Latin is Caesar. In German, it's Kaiser. These people were the Khazars. Is there a relationship there? I think so. There are rumors that I have yet to substantiate that Alexander the Great or Julius Caesar, which were allegedly one and the same person, created these people, or more precisely, relocated them from somewhere to what became the Khazar territory. I don't know. More on that perhaps in other videos. Anyway, tangent. So when I had stated that the Khazars are still alive and well in today's society, meaning that they are the Ashkenazi Jews, and I provided historical evidence for this, some people who have never before commented on my channel, at least I had never seen them, came around, just citing studies to the contrary, and the name Behar kept coming up, right? That was the woman, I believe, who conducted a lot of these studies, genetic studies, right? That supposedly prove that, the Khazar Ashkenazi connection is just a myth. It's just a myth. Anyway, I didn't bother reading any of these studies because I was just reminded of, vegans who don't actually read any studies. Why should I, right? But they come copying and pasting them to your channel as if to prove something when they themselves did not read any of these studies. So anyway, Ms. Behar was involved in a lot of those studies. A lot of these people cited, most of them actually. So I'm going to assume this comes from one of those. I don't care to check, but this is, if you read this Wikipedia article, what's it titled? List of R1A frequency by population. You'll see, or you follow the links, you'll see that Ms. Behar uses this data to say, to debunk the Khazar Ashkenazi myth, right? God, I gotta wipe my phone off. which is weird to me that you should come to that conclusion when, to me, it would seem, seeing as some of the Ashkenazi are very genetically very different from the rest of the Ashkenazi or Jews in general, European Jews, and they're very much like the Slavs, well, that would support this myth or, historical fact of some sort of population that wasn't Semitic converting to Judaism, right? That's what this supports. Shut up! What this Levite Ashkenazi R1A, presence of the R1A haplogroup in the Levite Ashkenazi, very high presence, almost as high as in modern day Poles. Well, that would, to me, I would think, support this claim that the Khazars are very much alive. Speaking of Khazars and the Poles, there is this old folk song that talks about the Khachare. I don't know if those are the Khazars. Colloquially, dictionaries will tell you that those are hooligans, right? Bad people, or street folk, societal margins, if you will, right? That's what common belief is today. But to me, that looks and sounds very much like Khazar. And this is how the song goes. Let me try to translate it. Old people used to say, and I'm going to use the word Khazar, where it says Khachare. Old people used to say that Khazars all died, basically. Croaked. But the Khazars live, they drink vodka, they look at everybody from above, and they don't give a damn about anything. Basically, that's how the song goes. This is an old folk song that, to me, states that they're still very much alive, and they're not the bottom of society as, common urban legends would have you believe these days, but they're looking at everybody from up top, and they don't give a shit about anything or anybody. So I would think that despite the fact that, like, good vegans, all these shills, I don't know where they're coming from, citing all these so-called studies that supposedly prove something, despite the fact that some of these people are spreading all this propaganda, it would seem, when you actually go and check out the evidence, it seems to say the exact opposite of what they want to say, what they are saying, right? Very much like vegans, citing a study of the Seventh-day Adventists saying that it proves the vegan diet as the best diet on the planet, when, A, not only can that study not prove anything of the sort, people that ate fish had better health outcomes than vegans and vegetarians. So, right? I mean, this is just, it's the same sort of mindset, brainwashing, and cult mentality, propaganda, basically, right? So it turns out that if you actually go and read some of these studies, what that would seem to lead to is the belief that the people writing their conclusions, the abstracts to these studies, are full of shit. Okay? So it would seem that the Khazars are very much alive, and they are the Ashkenazi Levites. It's just a hypothesis, but a pretty good one in my opinion. Okay? Thank you all for watching, and let's not blame the son for his father's sins.